It just felt like all my organs were being expelled out of my mouth. And I developed really terrible chest pain and chest tightness. It felt like someone was sitting on my chest. I couldn't take a deep breath. I tried and it was painful. It was bad. My name is Mary. I'm 27 years old and I was recently diagnosed with cancer. I have stage 2 Hodgkin lymphoma. I'll start off with brain fog, lack of concentration, memory loss. I could barely concentrate at work. Second symptom I'll talk about is fatigue. It was slight at first. I attributed it to just being lazy. Doing everyday tasks just seemed to take a lot more effort. All I wanted to do was just go home and lie down. The fatigue is about 10 times worse now. I can barely get myself to do anything. My cancer is like cancer. I noticed some skin issues. I noticed what I thought was a little mosquito bite, and eventually it grew and grew and grew, and it was inflamed. It was painful. It was throbbing. I began to get a rash on my neck. I thought it was eczema. It spread to my face. It was itchy. I was honestly miserable. It lasted maybe around 2 weeks. I started losing weight to the point where people around me noticed that I was losing weight. Overall, I've lost about 15 pounds. And then I started to get night sweats, and I don't sweat ever, not even during my most intense workouts. I never sweat. I thought it was my anxiety. I was going through a lot of anxiety at the time, so I just brushed it off. The first week of December, I got really sick. I had a fever, and then I developed a really bad cough. This cough lasted for 2 months. This is one of the worst coughs I've ever had in my life. Every time I'd cough, I would have to clutch my abdomen because it just felt like all my organs were being expelled out of my mouth. And I developed really terrible chest pain and chest tightness. It felt like someone was sitting on my chest. Every time I took a deep breath, I felt like a ball. I felt like a mass, and I thought it was in my lung. And with the coughing, it was bad. Then I noticed I started having shortness of breath. I would be doing nothing, just sitting down, and I would just be out of breath. I went to get an x-ray. January 14th is when the doctor called me the next day and said, "We found a mass in your chest and I'm referring you to a CT scan." Now at this time I thought I had an infection still from my virus. I thought it was just a pneumonia, tuberculosis, or something having to do with a virus. But when the doctor told me I found no infection in your x-ray, but there's a mass, then I knew it was something serious. I went and I got a CT scan done. I got my results back and it showed suspicion for lymphoma / lymphoproliferative process, which is a fancy word for saying that it's not localized, it's spread to different areas. And I was scrolling through and hearing the stories of other people who found their lymphoma, and almost everyone mentioned that they found a lump somewhere in their neck. And at the time I thought, I'm good, I don't have a lump in my neck. And then the next day I went into work and I just ran my hand down my neck, and that is when I found a lump right here. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Right here, if I do that, you can see it. And then obviously I just got more and more worried. I already knew I had cancer. I didn't need to have a biopsy to confirm it. Checked off all the boxes for all the symptoms of lymphoma. I got my first biopsy done on January 22nd. I have a bone marrow biopsy scheduled. If the cancer is found in my bone marrow, then that would make me stage 4, but there's a low probability of that. They're just trying to rule that out. I'm happy to answer any more questions that you have. I'm happy to share my findings, my blood work, anything that you need.
I feel like it must be so scary when you know something's up with your health, but you don't know what, and you don't realise all those things are linked. Like, she thought she had an infected bug bite. She thought the medication she was taking wasn't agreeing with her. Like, all of these things, I feel like she said she didn't realise what it was, but she knew something was wrong. She knew something was more wrong than just a bug bite or a rash or fatigue. And I feel like that must be really scary. And then after all that and all she's gone through as like a young, what she thought to be a healthy woman, going to the gym and like got her normal work-life balance and everything like that, to find out that you've got cancer is terrifying. It's horrifying. So women like this on the internet are honestly saviours. They're wonderful for being brave enough to share their story and help educate others to make sure that everyone gets checked and seen to if they believe there's an issue.